Hello, everybody. This is yet episode 4 of In the Know, a daily short form podcast show which is aimed at putting people in the know. A show where I cover a variety of topics using my experiences and viewpoints in life to put people in that know. Now, you may ask, what is the know? It is the understanding that seems to be hard for people to grasp, which will make their lives a lot simpler. The following is yet another intro into our topic of today. And what is that topic? It's regarding what school you should attend after high school. See, myself, when I was in high school, I wanted to attend a variety of schools. Then I had to ultimately take the ACT test. And from there, my options were limited because my score was low. But for those of you who managed to get other scores where you qualified, then you can see yourself going to a better school. And from here, you can apply to a variety of schools. The difficult problem is to decide which one to choose. And this is where we're going to discuss today, making our minds up about where we want to go to school. Starting with what school should we attend? Start here. Junior year. In your junior year, you should start taking the ACT and the SAT. I would say take it twice, one in the fall, one in the semester. Also, be cognitive of your GPA. This is the time to adjust, especially in your junior year. Are you currently where you want to be? Or if your grades are good, you can maintain. Do you have the appropriate letters of recommendations? Not necessarily friends and family who know you, but academics, people in your workplace that can actually write a letter to these universities letting them know what student is going to be coming. Do you have any volunteer time? Things such as outside of school, not anything that's paid, just something usually communal in your environment that you help out with after school. But also, write down top schools you would like to attend. Start with 10 and then narrow your options all the way down to a few chosen schools. Also, look at the affordability of these schools as well. Now, coming into your senior year, you also want to take the ACT. You want to take it in the fall, and maybe last minute, you could potentially take it in the spring. This is where you want to maintain that GPA or work to increase it. As far as your letter of recommendations, you need at least 3 good letters of recommendations that would come from workplace and or academic. Now, as far as those 10 schools that I told you to start with, narrow that down to a top 5. And another reason for this is I know you want to get a better shot at going to a school, but you should narrow it down because one, the fees. Fees will rack up really quick because they can run 45, 50, 60, $70. And I don't think you want to be paying $700 in fees to apply to 10 or more schools. Also, when you're applying to college, look at the financials, such as what are their aid packages? What are the scholarships that can help you go to these schools? What is your help lifeline? Meaning, do you have any families besides just parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents that may be helping you out? Now, let's look at the second section, which is the location. Will you be choosing an in state school? Look at this in state schools have a lower cost in tuition. You may even be able to stay at home. There's a familiar landscape, maybe an easy commute, and friends you might have grown up with could be going to these schools as well. Plus, there's also special aid and grant money for in state students. Now, let's look at the strengths of the out of state. Higher cost of tuition, but it's a change in scenery. You also get a chance to meet new people that you otherwise wouldn't have met if you would have stayed home. But the aid is lower, and then you can also, though, get on campus or some type of personal apartment as well of your own. Also, look at cities you might want to live in. Me, I stayed home, but for graduate school, I decided to come to New York City. Now, let's look at the different types of school private versus public. If you want to go to a private school, be prepared for there to be higher costs, but there's a higher credibility. They may have more specialized programs. There's connections and networks because of the alumni that might have went to these schools. And private endowments are usually coming from wealthy people toward these institutions. So there's more money that could help you go to school. As well as a high accreditation, which you also may have better facilities. And there's a prestige would come in with certain private schools versus public schools. But let's look at the public schools. There's lower costs, You may get more government funded money, larger college courses, larger student body that's more diverse, and the sporting facilities because of the football, basketball, baseball, soccer programs. Now, as far as what school to attend, don't forget your family, meaning you want to listen to their input, especially your mother and father, because these are the two people that are going to be paying for your college education. But also siblings. I myself, I'm the youngest. So I have two older siblings who've went through that college process. So they also help guided me as well. Now, you may also have a personal connection to the schools you might want to attend. Certain schools might have inspired you, certain schools for cultural reasons, social, spiritual, or even certain schools have a political connection to them. Now, as far as this end statement to cap all of this together, why we need to pick a school. We should be making this decision going into our junior year, like I said, of high school. And the reason being is so that we can have the best opportunity to pick a school. You don't want to jump too far behind. You want to be ahead of the curve to get into a good school. See, from the above reasons I gave, you should be able to dwindle the options all the way down to a chosen few. And that is the biggest thing to get done is the options down on paper. You can now sit back and analyze the options you have, which should constitute about 3 or 5 schools, and make sure to keep the people close to you in the choices that you make. They have your best interests at heart and will not steer you in the wrong direction. Thank you for listening to this episode of In the Know, and I can't wait to bring the next episode where we talk about whose advice to take when pursuing a degree.